Hey guys, doing the audio test real quick. Seeing how that is. Hey guys, hey guys. Hey guys, doing the audio test real quick. Alright, sounds alright. And I'll put on the piano background here. There we go. Hi. We went from that jamming synthy music to the mellow piano right now. So, switching over to that. I gotta find a better transition. How are you guys doing? Sorry about all that confusion today. I was very confused because I have to stream. Guys. I made 34 bucks. I'm spending more money on food than I'm making. I don't know how I'm gonna make my life work, so I was like, I gotta stream, I gotta get on, and I wanted to get back to our art history. I think that's what people enjoy. And then I was informed about the debates, and I went, oh fuck, because like the debate streams are really, really exciting. I mean, how rare they are, how rare the debates are, and it's really fun, and we get a lot of people in here. That's something I want to focus on some special streams. So I like freaked out and I like canceled the stream. So I was like, debate stream? No, we need to do that. But then I looked at my calendar and it says the 6th, and it says that the debates are on the 7th on Wednesday, and I was like, oh my god, I canceled my intro for the stream today. And so I got back on. So thanks for jumping back in. Hopefully people find their way back into the stream. Hot mess. It's not good for business, you know what I mean? Don't worry about what happened. Previously mistakes happen. Thanks guys. So I figured we'd continue on to the Gothic Europe that we were working on, art history. It's been really fun. We're really getting into some really fun things now. Now we have Gothic Europe, and we're getting into some really, really fun art here. And last time we finished off, it was 2 streams finishing off France. We went over the architecture and architectural decoration, the Suger and Saint Denis, the Gothic rib vault. So we started learning a little bit more about what makes something Gothic architecture, with the rib vaults in particular, and the flying buttresses, the way that the arches are. Then we have the royal portal. Remember, a portal is a door, so we have this royal portal at Chartres, and then we have Notre Dame, Paris. Chartres after 1194, because Chartres Cathedral, some fire happened, and then there was various periods of its construction. So there was something after the major date of 1194 at Chartres. And then there's the Gothic Cathedral, what all the components of a Gothic cathedral are. And then we have Chartres stained glass. Oh, the stained glass is amazing stuff. Hold on a second. Then we have the whole stained glass windows section, and we went over that a bit. Then we have Chartres South Transept, Amiens Cathedral. There's Sainte Chapelle in Paris, Virgin of Paris, book illumination and luxury arts. God as architect, and Blanche of Castile, and the Virgin of Jean Devereux. Cool. Mattia says, oh, it's Chartres. I've been writing it wrong the whole time, lol. Yeah, I don't know. I looked it up, and I always try to hear how things are being said and pronounced. And when the French, they pronounced it, sounded like Chartres. So I don't know how to speak French. They always sound so crazy when they say their words. So that's how I'm saying it's Chartres. It's happening. Hey, Marino, nice to see you. What's up, buddy? Yeah, so we are going to continue on with this next one. Let's see how far we get through. There's England, there's Salisbury Cathedral, the Chapel of Henry the 7th. Then there's the Holy Roman Empire, Cologne Cathedral, Strasbourg Cathedral, Naumburg Cathedral, Röttgen Pieta. And then there's Italy with sculpture painting, Nicola Pisano, Cimabue, Giotto, Arena Chapel, fresco painting, so we'll get into frescoes. Then there's the Simone Martini, Ambrosio Lorenzetti, architecture. So then there's like the, architecture in Italy. There's the Oviedo Cathedral, Florence Cathedral, and the Milan Cathedral. So that's what we're going to be going over. And let's check it out, shall we? I love Lorenzetti. Yeah, I know. Good stuff, right? Oop, hold on. Didn't set up my window. 1 second. There we go. Art through the ages. So before I get into it, again, remember, if you guys have a few bucks to help me out, it always really helps me reach my goal. You can always do that by going to this link down here at streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV. Thank you. So let's check this out. We got, last time we were going over France, so yeah, there was a bunch of cathedrals and stuff. I mean, look at this. This was where there was mostly windows. Like the construction of the Gothic rib vaults, you see this ribbing, the arches in the vault here. They provide that, I don't know, they were able to provide more structural support to have a lot of windows like that. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of what it looked like in France. If we want to just go back for a second, look at that. Stained glass windows. We got a shard. So yeah. So what do we have here? Get your drinks, get your smokes. Let's do this. Got my Arizona. So in 1269, the prior deputy abbot of the Church of St. Peter at Wimpfen im Tal in the German Rhineland hired a very experienced architect who had recently come from the city of Paris to rebuild his monastery church. Oh, Eduardo says, what? I thought that the stream was canceled. Okay, if you guys are coming back in here, thanks for coming back in. Sorry about that confusion. I started the stream, and then I thought that there was the vice presidential debates, and I freaked out, and then I canceled, and then I realized it was tomorrow. So it's happening tomorrow. Debates are tomorrow. Sorry about that. We're back to art history. I hope we can all just come back in here and relax and chill. No debates today. Whew. How did I not know that? Anyway, so we have a very experienced architect who had recently come from the city of Paris to rebuild his monastery church. The architect reconstructed the church Opry Francigeno in the French manner, that is, in the Gothic style of the de France. The Parisian Gothic style had begun to spread even earlier, but in the second half of the 13th century, the new style became dominant throughout Western Europe. European architecture did not, however, turn Gothic at all at once or uniformly. Almost everywhere, patrons and builders modified the Rhénant court style of the Ile-de-France according to local preferences. So the Salisbury Cathedral. The Salisbury Cathedral is this figure 720 down here on the left. Let's just check that out real quick. Okay. So this is the aerial view of the Salisbury Cathedral looking northeast in Salisbury, England. And it was built in 1220 to 1258. It's the west facade. The west facade was completed in 1265. The spire around 1320 to 1330. Okay, so exhibiting the distinctive regional features of English Gothic architecture, Salisbury Cathedral has a squat facade that is wider than the building behind it. The architects used flying buttresses sparingly. So the Salisbury Cathedral embodies the essential characteristics of English Gothic architecture. Begun in 1220, construction required about 40 years, which makes Salisbury almost exactly contemporaneous with Amiens and Reims Cathedral. Thus, the difference between the French and English buildings are very instructive. Although Salisbury's facade has lancet windows and blind arcades with pointed arches and statuary, it presents a striking contrast to the Reims design. The English facade is a squat screen in front of the nave, wider than the building behind it. Let me see, wider than the building behind it. So the English facade is a squat screen in front of the nave. Wider than the building behind it. The soaring height of the French facade is absent. The Salisbury facade also does not correspond to the three-part division of the interior, nave and two aisles. Different, too, is the emphasis on the Great Crossing Tower, added about 1320 to 1330, which dominates the silhouette. Salisbury's height is modest compared with that of Amiens and Reims, and because height is not a distinctive factor in this English building, the architect used the flying buttresses sparingly and as a rigid prop rather than as an integral part of the vaulting system within the church. In short, the British builders adopted some of the superficial motifs of French Gothic architecture, but did not embrace its structural logic or emphasis on height. Can we cover the Baroque era in Southern Europe someday? We definitely went over Baroque. I don't know if you saw it. Maybe you can go back to some of the other streams, but we can always definitely go back. Oh, no. You're right. We're not there as far as this book goes. We haven't gotten to Baroque yet, and I think we're approaching it. We're getting there. But I have personally done a Baroque art history stream way back when, and that was actually really interesting and pretty fun. It wasn't me reading, really. It was definitely more interactive, so you should check out that stream. It was really good, but we will go to it in this book, though. Yeah, no, Jay, we didn't do it in the book. Baroque is later, because we're going in chronological order. We're not there yet, historically, in the Baroque era, but we did do that a long time ago, like last year, before I started doing the book. I vote for brutalism and international style stream to own the trads. Yeah, Marina, I think I did that last year as well, and we will go over that again too. Promise we'll get back to it. But I think before you guys really got into me and joined me and knew me, I went over some of this stuff, again, not reading from the textbook. They were really good streams, and I dressed all Baroque and everything. I had a whole Baroque outfit. I had this like top that I don't even have with me. I was in England when I did it. But yeah, and then I also did brutalism and out there as well. If you check out the Art Deco stream, it was really interesting. I brought up brutalism in that. There was the brutalism brought up with the what is it called? Dadaism. I did Dadaism. And I'm actually quite a fan of that stuff. I'm not a huge I have always been anti-brutalism, and there's concepts of it like socialist housing or whatever that's absolutely terrible. But there are some really strong architectural like sculptures and buildings that are brutalist that I find to be powerful and interesting visually. So I'm not fully against it. So yeah, let's own the trads for that. Yeah, but I have talked about, if you want to know some of my opinions, the Dadaism was really interesting, that history and all that. Definitely go check out the streams if you're bored and just, want to watch something on YouTube, and not be live with us and interacting with us. It's a good one, and we'll loop back to it through the book, I'm sure. So, yeah, what do we have here? So Salisbury interior, figure 721. Okay, so this is the interior. It looks very English to me. So, interior of Salisbury Cathedral looking east, Salisbury, England, 1220 to 1258. Salisbury Cathedral's interior differs from contemporaneous French Gothic designs in the strong horizontal emphasis of its three-story elevation and the use of dark Purbeck marble for moldings. The moldings, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, I find Dadaism to be really cool, actually. It's very interesting, and I feel like that's where we're at right now, but like in reverse, instead of it being like super left-wing, it's like kind of right-wing, except I don't think the right's really embracing the art culture. It's interesting. It's interesting if you look at it and what they were trying to do. So, Salisbury interior, although Gothic in its three-story elevation, pointed arches, four-part rib vaults, compound piers, and the tracery of the triforium conspicuously departs from the French Gothic style seen at Amiens. The pier colonnettes stop at the springing of the nave arches and do not connect with the vault ribs. Instead, the vault ribs rise from corbels in the triforium, producing a strong horizontal emphasis. Underscoring this horizontality is the rich color contrast between the light stone of the walls and vaults and the dark Purbeck marble used for the triforium molds and corbels. Compound pier responds, and other details. Whew. So this is the interior. Oh yeah, no, we read that already. Okay, so then we have, that looks awesome. That's really cool. I love ceilings. I think that's the ceiling, right? This is the Robert and William Vertu fan vaults of the Chapel of Henry the VII, Westminster Abbey, London, England. Oh, that's Westminster Abbey. Huh. In England, 1503 to 1519. Two hallmarks of the perpendicular style of the English late Gothic architecture are the multiplication of ribs and the use of the fan vaults with lace-like tracery and large hanging pendants resembling stalactites. Does look like stalactites. So, English Gothic architecture found its native language in the elaboration of architectural pattern for its own sake. Structural logic, expressed in the building fabric, was secondary. The pier, wall, and vault elements, still relatively simple at Salisbury, became increasingly complex and decorative in the 14th century and later. In the early 16th century chapel of Henry VII, adjoining Westminster Abbey in London, the so-called perpendicular style of the late English Gothic is on display. The style takes its name from the pronounced verticality of its decorative details, in contrast to the horizontal emphasis of Salisbury and early English Gothic. In Henry's chapel, the architects Robert and William Vertu multiplied the vault ribs, figure 722, let me see, 722, yeah, this one, okay, and pulled them into uniquely English fan vaults with large hanging pendants resembling stalactites, intricate tracery recalling lace overwhelms the cones hanging from the ceiling. Oops, fucking hell, what did I do? God damn it. Dan says it looks like the set designers from Blade Runner were inspired by this style. Interesting. So yeah, the chapel hold on. The chapel represents the dissolution of structural, sorry, I was thinking. The chapel represents the dissolution of structural Gothic into decorative fancy. The designers released the Gothic French style's original lines from their function and multiplied them into the uninhibited architectural virtuosity and theatrics of the English perpendicular style. Very nice. Very nice. So then we have the Holy Roman Empire. The architecture of the Holy Roman Empire remained conservatively Romanesque well into the 13th century, if you remember the Romanesque style, guys. In many German churches, the only Gothic feature was the rib vault, buttressed solely by the heavy masonry of the walls. By mid-century, though, the French Gothic style began to have a profound impact. Cologne Cathedral, begun in 1248 under the direction of Gerard of Cologne. Is it Cologne? Cologne. Cologne Cathedral was not completed until more than 600 years later. Jeez. It is the largest cathedral in Northern Europe and boasts a giant 422-foot-long nave with 2 aisles on each side. Wow. It's pretty stunning. Wow. Cool. The 150-foot high... Ooh. The 150-foot high 14th century choir is a skillful variation of the Amiens Cathedral choir design with double lancets in the triforium and tall, slender single windows in the clerestory above and choir arcade below. The Cologne choir expresses the Gothic quest for height even more emphatically than many French Gothic buildings. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that definitely looks like an emphasis on height to me. It looks like the image is like stretched. Like a glitch stretch. I may roll a little something, if you guys don't mind. How are you guys doing? How do we feel about Gothic architecture, guys? How do we feel about Gothic architecture? It's very angular. It's very linear in regard to this height kind of reaching upwards aspect. I love structures that dwarf the perspective. Yeah, Dan. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just fascinating. I mean, any little bit. Like, I just live in a shitty Brooklyn apartment and in a tiny room. And even my room, trying not to spend money on something that's not going to be permanent or what have you. There is a sense of like, how do I want to create my space that I'm in all the time, every day? Like, you know, not to be lazy about my eye and creating, so. It was built that way to be closer to God. That's right, Bob. That's right. It's like the whole, the higher the hair, the closer to God kind of concept. It was the same with the church. Taller the church, closer to God. I feel like they did that with pyramids too. Nick Monroe says, I feel like I'm learning stuff. Well, good. That's what we do here. That's what we do here. Just rolling a little something. Don't mind me. Dan says, I built that Hagia Sophia to scale in Minecraft. It feels so cool to stand inside it. Wow. Yeah. Exactly. Like, I don't know, man. I have the mathematical sense and the artistic eye. I better be able to turn this piece of crap room into something livable. A few minutes, guys. Minecraft is a very mathematical game. You should play it, Martina. Oh my god. I'm sure my niece would be very thrilled if I went on Minecraft with her, but I do not play video games. I am too old for that. Not my thing. I tap out of that adventure. I'm out. I was out in the 90s. Martina playing Minecraft would be a meme gold mine. Shut up, guys. To it, shall we? Dan, you're a guy though. I don't know. I don't play video games. It's like once you don't play video games for like how many decades, like you can't go back into it. Technology's changed way too much. It's not my thing. I don't do it. I didn't mean to offend people. By the way, Allie, I'm still older than you. You said you're 33, you still play video games. I'm older than you, but it's just, I stopped playing in like the mid-90s, so what am I gonna do in 2020? Playing video games. So, not gonna happen. When you have kids, you have to keep up with it. Oh, God, yeah. All right. So then there's the Strasbourg Cathedral. And like French Gothic architects, French sculptors also often set the standard for their counterparts in other countries. In the German Rhineland, work began in 1176 on a new cathedral for Strasbourg, today a French city. The apse, choir, and transepts were in place by around 1240. Stylistically, these sections of the new church are Romanesque, but the reliefs of the two south transept portals are fully Gothic and reveal the influence of contemporaneous French sculpture, especially that of Reims. The subject of the left tympanium, 724. So this, remember what a tympanium is. This is above the portals, above the doors where they cross through. Oh, Denise Moore. Dennis Moore. Sorry about that. It said Henry VII wrecked most of the beautiful altars in England, and Elizabeth Finish them off. I'm still angry. Wow, that's really interesting, actually. Let me see. Let me look that up. It's relevant to what we're dealing with right now. Let me just see this. Thank you, Dennis. Let me see. Oh, the 8th. Oh, okay. Because we were talking about Henry VII. Okay, yeah. Henry VIII. Oh, wow.
Henry VIII wrecked most of the beautiful altars in England and Elizabeth. Finish them off. I'm still angry.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Okay, I think Henry VIII is coming up next. We're at Henry VII. Okay. Interesting. Damn. Did he really? He was such a shithead, right? So, then, what are we at? So yeah, here we are, the Tympanum. So the death of the Virgin. Ooh, let me turn this down. Death of the Virgin. Tympanum of left doorway, south transept, Strasbourg Cathedral, Strasbourg, France, circa 1230. Stylistically akin to the Visitation group of Reims Cathedral, the figures in Strasbourg south transept Tympanum express profound sorrow through dramatic poses and gestures. Dramatic sorrow. Bob says, I go to Lichfield Cathedral in Staffordshire, England for Christmas Mass. It is the only medieval English cathedral with 3 spires. Wow, that is so cool. That's really awesome. Let me look that up real quick. So, the Lichfield Cathedral. Oh, that looks beautiful. So, let me see. I wanted to see when this was made. Wow, that looks really cool. Oh, I love that. $1195 to $1340. So yeah, that was around this time. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Look at those pews. That's stunning. It's really lovely. The organ. Wow. Look at this. Yeah, see this Gothic. You see the arches? And the rib, is it the ribbing? We went over this, where all these lines, they converge. Springs, do they call them? Yeah, I wish I was better at remembering the stuff we went over, but yeah, the way that the lines are converging, those ribs of sorts. Cool. Love it. Let's get back to the other book. So, yeah, dramatic emotional gestures of sorrow. So the subject of the left tympanum is the death of the Virgin Mary. Oh, wow. A comparison of the Strasbourg Mary on her deathbed with the Mary of the Reims Visitation group suggests that the German master had studied the recently installed French jam statues. The 12 apostles gather around the Virgin, forming an ark of mourners, well suited to the semicircular frame. At the center, Christ receives his mother's soul, the doll-like figure he holds in his left hand. Let's see. Oh my God, I see it. I see it. Mary Magdalene, wringing her hands in grief, crouches beside the deathbed. Okay, sorry, let me say it again. Mary Magdalene, wringing her hands in grief, crouches beside the deathbed. These sorrowing figures express emotion in varying degrees of intensity, from serene resignation to gesturing agitation. The sculptor organized the group by dramatic pose and gesture, but also by the rippling flow of deeply incised drapery that passes among them like a rhythmic electric pulse. Okay, let's look at this rhythmic electric pulse. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the fabric looks cool. It's definitely happening everywhere. Yeah, rhythmic electric pulse. Sounds good. Sounds good. The sculptor's objective was to imbue the sacred figures with human emotions and to stir emotional responses in observers. In Gothic France, as already noted, art became increasingly humanized and natural. In Gothic Germany, artists carried this humanizing trend even further by emphasizing passionate drama. Interesting. All right, am I gonna say this right? Am I saying this right? Naumburg? Naumburg. Naumburg Castle. That AU, the Naumburg Castle. No, Eduardo, no. I knew someone was gonna say that. That's so funny. Hey, it's bound to happen, man. The Naumburg Cathedral. Remember, I think what would be funny is all the reactions to the pronunciations, because I always look up the pronunciations and I think my reactions are always like Naumburg. So Naumburg Cathedral, the Strasbourg style with its feverish emotionalism, was particularly appropriate for narrating dramatic events in relief. The sculptor entrusted with the decoration of the west choir of Naumburg Cathedral faced a very different challenge. The task was to carve statues of the 12 benefactors of the original 11th century church. The vivid gestures and agitated faces of the Strasbourg portal contrast with the quiet solemnity of the Naumburg statues. Two of the figures stand out. Ooh, look at them. So this is Eckhard and Uda, statues in the West Choir, Naumburg Cathedral, Naumburg, Germany, circa 1249 to 1255. Painted limestone. Eckhard is 6 feet 2 inches high. Wow, that's pretty big. The period costumes and individualized features of these donor portraits give the impression that Eckhard and Uda posed for their statues, but they lived long before the Naumburg sculptor's time. Interesting. Wait, what happened? Okay, so I didn't finish the sentence. That's what happened. So what's going on is that they are in contrast to the outside. So the outside here is like really emotional and like dramatic, and then these are very like solemn and like and these are the donor sculptures, and that was well before the sculptors' time. But yeah, so what do we have here? Two of the figures stand out from the group because of their exceptional quality. They represent the Margrave, German military governor Eckhard II of Meissen, and his wife Uda. The statues are attached to columns and stand beneath architectural canopies, a common framing device on French Gothic portal statuary. Their location indoors accounts for the preservation of much of the original paint. Eckhard and Uda give an idea of how the facade and transept sculptures of Gothic cathedrals once looked. The period costumes and individualized features and personalities of the Margrave and his wife give the impression that they sat for their own portraits, although the subjects lived well before the sculptor's time. Eckhard, the intense knight, contrasts with the beautiful and aloof Uda, with a wonderfully graceful gesture. She draws the collar of her own gown partly across her face while she gathers up a soft fold of drapery with a jeweled, delicate hand. Ooh, let me see that again. Not that, obviously. Oh. I do like that. I love that pose. Yes. Give it to me, girl. Give it to me, Uda. Yes, Uda. Fashion. That's not very fashion. So, she draws her collar of her gown partly across her face while she gathers up a soft fold of drapery with a jeweled, delicate hand. The sculptor subtly revealed the shape of Uda's right arm beneath her cloak and rendered the fall of drapery folds with an accuracy that indicates the use of a model. The two statues are arresting images of real people, even if they bear the names of aristocrats the artist never met. By the mid-13th century, life-size images of secular personages had found their way into churches. Okay, I don't know how to say this. I know the Pieta, but I don't know how to say Röttgen? Röttgen? Let's see. Röttgen Pieta. Pronounce. Oop.
Röttgen.
Hold on. Let me do this piano. Where's this piano business? Okay, piano.
Röttgen. Röttgen.
Rockin'.
Röttgen.
Rockin'.
Röttgen.
Rockin'. Rockin'. Okay. Rockin'. We're rockin' and rollin'. Rockin'. Rockin'. We are rockin'. All right, bye, Matthias. Thanks for coming by. Nice to see you. Rockin'. Oh my God, Eduardo. Shut up. So, the Röttgen Pieta, the confident Naumburg donors, stand in marked contrast to a haunting 14th century German painted wood statuette. Of the Virgin Mary holding the dead Christ in her lap. Okay, the widespread troubles of the 14th century war, plague, famine, social strife brought on an ever more accurate awareness of suffering. This sensibility found its way readily into religious art. A fevered and fearful piety sought comfort and reassurance in the reflection that Christ and the Virgin Mother shared humanity's woes. To represent this, artists emphasize the traits of human suffering in powerful, expressive exaggeration. In the illustrated group called a Pieta, pity, or compassion in Italian, the sculptor portrayed Christ as a stunted, distorted human wreck, stiffened in death and covered with streams of blood gushing from a huge wound. Mary, who cradles him like a child in her lap, is the very image of maternal anguish, her oversized face twisted in an expression of unbearable grief. This statue expresses... Oh, let's look at the statue. It's pretty creepy. That's what she looks like. And he's just like... He looks like Daguan. Jay, you gotta clip this for Daguan. Even Jesus has done the Daguan. Okay. And she's just like... Alright. I don't know if Jay's paying attention around here. So this is the Virgin with Dead Christ, the Röttgen Pieta from the Rhineland, Germany, circa 1300 to 1325. It's painted wood, 2 feet 10.5 inches high, and it's at the some sort of museum. Yeah, you're listening, Jay, but look at this. He's doing the Daguan. Okay, let's go back to it. So, okay. So, the statue expresses nothing of the serenity of earlier Gothic depictions of the Virgin, nor does the Röttgen Pieta, named after a collector, have anything in common with the aloof, iconic images of the Theotokos with the infant Jesus in her lap, common in Byzantine art. Oh my god, he just turned on the stream and I'm just like 10.5 inches. That's funny. So, here, the artist forcibly confronts the devout with an appalling icon of agony, death, and sorrow that humanizes, to the point of heresy, the sacred personages. The work calls out to the horrified believer, what is your suffering compared to this? I mean, it certainly does that. I think that is definitely meant to invoke, like, suffering. And it's just like, fuck you and your bullshit problems. Look at Jesus. You know? Look at Jesus. What the hell are you bitching about? This is suffering. So, yeah. So, throughout Europe, the humanizing of religious themes and religious images accelerated steadily after the 12th century. By the 14th century, art addressed the private person, often in a private place, in a direct appeal to the emotions, the expression of feeling accompanied by the representation of the human body in motion. As the figures of the church portals began to twist on their columns, then move within their niches, and then stand independently, their details became more outwardly related to the human audience as expressions of recognizable human emotions. Okay. FIFA Craft asks, would you say we are in another dark ages for art? Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at it in, like, just context of this art history book, like what people will study in art or whatever, you'd have to look at it. Depends. What sort of architecture are we doing today? What sort of amazing monuments have we done? Like, where are we at? Can't think of anything. I mean, we've definitely built things and stuff, but nothing notable enough, I feel like. I mean, just maybe that would be like long-standing. I don't know. Probably. Yeah. I think we are, sure. Unless someone can make a good argument for something. I mean, we still have fashion. And maybe I have gone to a museum, I think in England, in London. It was the science. My husband took me to some science, mathematics. Oh, he took me to some math and science museum, yeah. And there was like a whole display of computers, like Mac computers, and all the various ones. Some of you guys remember those colorful ones, all the various ones, and it was just kind of become vintage pieces of artwork, part of history. And that's how you have to look at it. Like, your computer that you're working on right now isn't really anything special to us, really, as far as thinking it belongs in a museum. But I think in the grander scheme of things, the design concept of each of these particular eras that we're in with technology and computers is a moment of history that's probably going to be documented. Sure, yeah. Specifically, I was thinking music, but you could definitely bring that to all entertainment. Oh, okay. Musically. Yeah, I mean, again, I think most of us deal with technology, so it's, although it may seem mundane, there is certain shifts in technologies that are happening pretty rapidly that I feel like impact like our place in history in regard to music and all sorts of stuff. It's interesting. Yeah, so anyway, then we're getting into Italy, but maybe I'll take a little smoke break, answer some more of your questions. If you have super chats and you want to chit chat with me and take a break before we finish off Italy, let's see where we're at here. Why did you commit blasphemy, Jay? Check the Discord. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, my God, you did. Oh, shit. I really want to show it. I feel like people get mad. Don't share it in the neophyte, because we'll probably have like Byronic or something get upset. This shit's so funny. I'm pretty good help for that one. No, it's fine. It's you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. You didn't like freaking. You're not like a pedo or murderer or some sort of fucked up person. You're fine. You just fucking made some artwork. Artwork is controversial. It's fine. That's funny though. I'll put that piano back on. There we go. There we go. Just for me, thanks. So, how are you guys doing? Do you want me to just continue reading about Italy? We got Italy, so we got the sculpture painting. Nicola Pisano, Simone, Giotto, Arena Chapel, fresco paintings, Simone Martini. They got Lorenzetti, architecture, different cathedrals, Milan, Florence Cathedral. It's Simaboo. It's Simaboo, okay? Simaboo. Chimbuye. You're just like fucking with me. I'll look up the pronunciation. Alright, I guess we'll go into Italy. So Italy. Nowhere is the regional diversity of Gothic art and architecture more evident than Italy. Oh, okay. In fact, art historians debate whether the 13th and 14th century Italian art should be considered late Gothic, the last phase of medieval art, or early Renaissance, the dawn of a new artistic age when artists broke away from medieval conventions and consciously revived the classical style. Both of these characterizations have merit. The word Renaissance in French and English, Rinascita in Italian, refers to a rebirth of art and culture, a revived interest in classical sculptures. Indeed, the veneration of classical antiquity as a model was central to this rebirth. The notion that the Renaissance represented the restoration of the glorious past of Greece and Rome is the root of the concept of the Middle Ages, that is, the era between antiquity and the Renaissance. It also gave rise to Vasari's disdainful labeling of medieval art as Gothic. That's the guy that we talked about before, and he was calling shit Gothic. So, a significant development in 14th century Italy was the blossoming of a vernacular, commonly spoken literature, which dramatically affected Italy's intellectual and cultural life. Latin remained the official language of church liturgy and state documents, but the creation of an Italian vernacular literature was one important sign that religion-oriented view of the world that dominated medieval Europe was about to change dramatically. Although religion continued to occupy a primary position in the lives of Europeans, a growing concern with the natural world, the individual, and humanity's worldly existence characterized the Renaissance period, the 14th through the 16th centuries. Fundamental to the development of the Italian Renaissance was humanism. Humanism was more a code of civil conduct, a theory of education, and a scholarly discipline than a philosophical system. As their name suggests, the Italian humanists celebrated human values and interests as distinct from, but not opposed to, religion's otherworldly values. Humanists held up classical cultures as particularly praiseworthy. This enthusiasm for antiquity involved study of Latin literature and a conscious emulation of what proponents thought were the Roman civic virtues. These included self-sacrificing service to the state, participation in government, defense of state institutions, especially the administration of justice, and stoic indifference to personal misfortune and the performance of duty. Classical cultures provided humanists with a model for living in this world, a model primarily of human focus that derived not from the authoritative and traditional religious dogma, but from reason. Okay, so that's an interesting concept. If you guys have any comments about that, about humanism and this kind of changing, this development of the Italian Renaissance and this code of civil conduct and this Roman civic virtues, self-sacrificing service to the state, participation in government, defense of state institutions, especially the administration of justice, and stoic indifference to personal misfortune and the performance of duty. No? Dan says the rediscovery of virtue is an interesting cycle. Yeah, I think we saw that before with what was that guy that we went through in the Greek It was the Roman period, who was more philosophical. He was one of the philosophical ones that started to think about things a bit differently than the other conquering type emperors. What the fuck's his name? I feel like there's an A in there, and an A and a D. You guys remember what I'm talking about? Who's the more philosophical Greek guy? Who's like an emperor or some shit? We were like, I was reading his quotes. You could say artists are the canaries of culture. Yeah, and that's what I'm constant the repeating motif of this whole art history streaming is the how it's art, architecture, art and culture that is that survives. And what we understand about culture and history, it's like super important, and people that fund those types of things are usually powers at play, whether it be the Catholic Church or the Holy Roman Empire or what have yous. Alright, well, you guys think about that. You can always super chat me or send like Streamlabs, and we can have like a cool conversation going if you think about it. But let's move forward to sculpture and painting. The Renaissance humanists quickly developed a keen interest in classical art as well as literature. Love. Although the Visitation statues of Rheims cathedrals show a familiarity with Roman statuary in 13th century France, the emulation of Greco-Roman art was, not surprisingly, far more common in Italy, where the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, roughly 1220 to 1250, had been king of Sicily since 1197. Frederick's nostalgia for Rome's past grandeur fostered a revival of Roman sculpture in Sicily and southern Italy, not unlike the neoclassical Renovatio that Charlemagne encouraged 4 centuries earlier in Germany. Yeah, remember that? It was around the Charlemagne time, I think, about the guy with the quotes. The guy with the quotes, the philosopher. But he was also like some sort of emperor or some shit. Anyway. Yeah, Charlemagne. Anyway, so Nicola Pisano, the sculptor known as Nicola Pisano, Nicola of Pisa, active around 1258 to 1278, received his early training in southern Italy. After Frederick's death in 1250, Nicola, I love the name Nicola, traveled northward and eventually settled into Pisa. The city, then at the height of its political and economic power, was a magnet for artists seeking lucrative commissions. Very nice. Sorry. The city, so Pisa, I guess, was the height of the political and economic power and was a magnet for artists seeking lucrative commissions. Nicola Pisano's sculpture, unlike the French sculpture... Wait, hold on. Yeah, sorry. So his sculpture, unlike the French sculpture of the period, was not part of the extensive decoration of great doors. He carved marble reliefs and ornamentation for large pulpits, raised platforms from which priests led church services, completing the first in 1260 for Pisa's baptistry, figure 626. Oh, that's in the other chapter. What? Some elements of the pulpit's design carried on medieval traditions, but Nicola incorporated classical elements into this medieval type of structure. The large, bushy capitals are a Gothic variation of the Corinthian capitals. The arches are round, as in Roman architecture, rather than pointed, as in Gothic buildings, and each of the large rectangular relief panels resemble the front of a Roman sarcophagus. One of these panels, figure 727, okay, there we go, this one right here. So this is Nicola Pisano, Annunciation, Nativity, and Adoration of the Shepherds, relief panel on the pulpit of the baptistry in Pisa, Italy, 1259 to 1260. It's marble relief, 2 feet 10 inches by 3 feet 9 inches. And it is the classical sculpture inspired the face types, beards, coiffures, and draperies, as well as the bulk and weight of Nicola's figures. The Madonna of the Nativity resembles lid figures on Roman sarcophagi. So one of these panels, this one we just saw, depicts scenes from the infancy cycle of Christ, including the Annunciation and top left, the Nativity, center and lower half, and the Adoration of the Shepherds, top right. Okay, so there's a few different scenes going on. Huh. Okay. The Annunciation. Okay. So the Virgin reclines like a lid figure on an Etruscan or Roman sarcophagus, and the face types, beards, coiffures, and draperies, as well as the bulk and weight figures, reveal the influence of classical relief sculpture. Scholars have been able to pinpoint the models for some of Nicola's figures on Roman sarcophagi in Pisa. Alright, I have to figure out how to say this.
PronounceNames.com.
Cimabue.
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 Cimabue? Hold on, I gotta stop this piano.
Cimabue.
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 Cimabue. What the fuck name is that? It's ridiculous. Cimabue. Fucking ridiculous, man. Cimabue. So, Jay said that before. Okay. Fucking ridiculous. Cimabue. So, late 13th century Italian painting also differ sharply from the elegant court style popular north of the Alps. Byzantine style dominated Italian painting throughout the Middle Ages. Love. The Italio-Byzantine style, or Maniera Greca, Greek style, still characterizes the art of Seni di Peppo, better known by his nickname, Cimabue, Bull's Head. In Cimabue's Madonna enthroned with angels and prophets, this figure is 728. The heritage of Byzantine icon painting is apparent in the careful structure and symmetry. Okay, structure and symmetry. The poses of the figures, the gold lines of Mary's garments, and the gold background. Love. However, Cimabue constructed a deeper space for the Madonna and surrounding figures to inhabit that. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? I'm like too high now. Hold on. Okay, so it's similar in style to the Byzantine with the like posing and the gold and the way that it's all laid out in shit. However, it's different in style because the Cimabue constructed a deeper space for the Madonna and the surrounding figures to inhabit than is common in Byzantine painting, and he convincingly depicted the throne as receding into space. Okay. Cimabue also enhanced the three-dimensionality of the drapery folds of the angels and prophets. Okay, yeah, sure. Cimabue Madonna enthroned with angels and prophets, circa 1280 to 1290. Tempera on wood. It's 12 feet 7 inches by 7 feet 4 inches. That's huge. And it's in a gallery in Florence. Cimabue was a master of the Italo-Byzantine style, which dominated Italian painting throughout the Middle Ages. Here, the heritage of Byzantine icon painting is apparent. So then we have the Giotto. That's how I'm saying that. I'm saying it super Italian for me. It's happening. So this is Giotto di Bondone. The Madonna enthroned, circa 1310, tempera on wood, 10 feet 8 inches by 6 feet 8 inches. It's in the same gallery in Florence. And the Giotto displayed the Byzantine style in Italian painting and revived the naturalism of classical art. His figures have substance, dimensionality, and bulk, and give the illusion that they could throw shadows. That's true. That's true. So the Italian painter who made a much more radical break with the Miniera Greca was Giotto di Bondone, circa 1266 to 1337, whom art historians from Vasari to present day have regarded as the first Renaissance painter, a pioneer in pursuing naturalism, representation based on observation of the natural world. It's definitely more naturalistic than the other style. For sure. For sure. So, scholars still debate the sources of Giotto's style, although one source must have been the work of the man Vasari identified as his teacher, Cimabue. That's why they're together. Late medieval mural painting in Rome, French Gothic sculpture, and ancient Roman sculpture and painting must have also contributed to Giotto's artistic education. Yet no synthesis of these varied sources could have produced the significant shift in artistic approach that has led to some scholars to describe Giotto as the father of Western pictorial art. Oh, wow. Renowned in his own day, his reputation has never faltered, regardless of the other influences on his artistic style. His true teacher was nature, the world of visible things. Giotto's revolution in painting did not consist only of displacing the Byzantine style, establishing painting as a major art form for the next 7 centuries, and restoring the naturalistic approach the ancients developed and medieval artists largely abandoned. I like the naturalism style. He also inaugurated a method of pictorial expression based on observation and initiated an age that might be called early scientific by stressing the preeminence of sight for gaining knowledge of the world. Giotto and his successors contributed to the foundation of empirical science. Well, hot damn. Well, hot damn. Did we all catch that? So his whole style is what kind of turned this Italian Renaissance for decades into this naturalism kind of style, which I'm thankful for. I really like that kind of style, and he brought painting as a forefront to this kind of time period, which is awesome. And his whole style was about observation, so it was he was a pioneer of early scientific thought of empirical science, and that empirical science means seeing something happen, experiencing it happen, seeing something happen, witnessing stuff happen, and just like studying that, like, you know, watching gravity happen by dropping something and calculating it and timing it and like doing it over and over and over and over again. And that's like kind of what his artwork was about, was visually studying something over and over again and trying to understand it. So that makes sense. That's really cool. I like that. So Giotto and his successors contributed to the foundation of empirical science. They recognized the visual world must be observed before it could be analyzed and understood. Praised in his own time and later times for his fidelity to nature, again, natural sciences. It's all about understanding nature. Natural sciences. It's where science was born. So, for his fidelity to nature, Giotto was more than a mere imitator of it. He revealed nature while observing it and divining its visible order. In fact, he showed his generation a new way of seeing. With Giotto, Western artists turned... oh my god, I can't read right now anymore. I'm like so over it. Hold up. I just have one more sentence to go, but let me see. Alright, it's only been an hour and a half. I think I just smoked too much, maybe. That's what happened. So anyway, so he revealed nature while observing it and divining its visible order. In fact, he showed his generation a new way of seeing. With Giotto, Western artists turned resolutely towards the visible world as their source of knowledge of nature. Okay. Love it. Love it. Got it. Okay. Commercial break. That's a good idea. I could use the bathroom actually and just like chill for a second before I continue reading. I need a break. Thank you. So let me just see what you guys are talking about here. This is before I go on a break. Oh my god, you guys haven't been able to see this whole time? Oh no. You haven't been able to see this whole time? And I'm just like reading? Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't anyone tell me you guys couldn't see? What the fuck? Did you guys see this? Oh my god, I have to back all the way up now. Oh my god. Holy shit, guys. Okay, so this is what we were going... The Italian sculptors started going back to, like Nicola Pisano started doing, like, this is the nativity scene and all that bullshit. And it was going back to the old fucking Greek style. But then you got this Cimabue guy and his Madonna, and it's, like, done in the, like, gold and all the structures, like, similar to the Byzantine stuff, but he did it a little bit more realistic with, like, the throne, where it looks like it's going... You know, it has more depth. It's like definitely going back. It has definitely more depth than the typical Byzantine, where it looks very flat, and also the clothing, the robes have a little bit more depth to that. So okay, cool. Then you go to the other guy, the Giotto guy, who amazing. He's this grandfather of like natural sciences and empirical science, and he brought back this whole naturalistic style of making things look really realistic through visually observing stuff. He was all about observing, which is why it relates to him being connected to kind of being a founding father of natural science. So, because it's all about observing. It's all about observation and empirical study and seeing the world in a different way through observing, through seeing. So that's really cool. That's Giotto. And yeah, you can see the resemblance. They think that Cimabue is his teacher, I think. That's what they were saying. Okay. So, yeah, let me see what we were doing. I think I was taking a break because... yeah, that's what we were doing. We were just looking at his whole... Giotto. That's where we were at. That's where we were at. Sorry about that. Fuck. I do need a break. Let me just chill. And chill with you guys for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this for a second. Remind me to go back, but I just want to see where we're at, what we're dealing with here. So we have, we're in Italy. We just did we're in Giotto. So, okay, cool. We got to do the Arena Chapel, fresco paintings. Cool. Simone, Martini, Lorenzetti, and then we got some architecture. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can do it, shall we? If you're interested. What flavor Arizona am I drinking? It's just iced tea with lemon flavor, but normally I do the mucho mango and peach iced tea. Because, you know, I like my peach iced tea. I make peach iced tea myself. Peach iced tea is so good. Next passage is Arena Chapel. We can finish this. Come on. Okay, Matthias. Okay. I'm going to do a commercial in a little bit. You drink my parrot? No mango. Yes, Jay. I drink mucho mango. That's Jay's parrot. Mango. It's a great name. Okay, let me turn this other thing back on before I forget. There you go. Alright, I guess I'll go to the bathroom. See you guys in a minute. Hey guys, okay, I'm back. You really like the neon colors during the performance scene? Thanks, yeah. Hell yeah. I went to the bathroom quick. Well, actually, I sat here, waited because you said to let it play again a second time. So I let it play a second time and watched it myself along with you. So I was back sooner than that, actually. But yeah. Welcome back. Just, you know. Sometimes you just gotta stop reading for a minute before you start reading again. So yeah, how are you guys doing? Yeah, that was the comic book. Just working on that. Hey, William Brothers. He says, I like how baby Jesus in these paintings look like 30-year-old men. I don't think the artist had much to go off of for models. That's what Jay says a lot of the times, is that baby Jesus looks like a full-grown man. It really does. Like, it looks like a 30-year-old man. It does. It's so fucking funny. They had problems to depict babies properly during those times. He looks unimpressed. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, this looks like you could put a suit on him and he's like going to the office. They look like tiny scaled adults. That's a whole ass man. He's like going like to an office meeting right now, like lecturing someone. To be fair, they all look unimpressed. So does Mary, for sure. Jesus matured quickly. Our baby's head's bigger compared to the rest of the body. Yes, that's true. Yeah, and you see his head is quite small compared to the rest of the body. That's the issue, I feel like. It's most of the issue. It's just generally big, too, unless it's supposed to be like a toddler. Like, I'm confused. This is the Messiah, I guess. That's true. If you were important, you were depicted bigger. That's true. That's why I'm cool, because I'm big. That's what I always thought about being. Like, I mean, I'm not like gigantor huge, but it's just like, you know, when I wear heels, I could be like 6 foot, yeah, with heels on. And, you know, if you go out or perform or whatever, you generally wear heels. And so I'm definitely not a petite girl. I'm not like 5'2" or 5'4" or something. And so I have bigger bones. I'm like big. Like, I just have big bones. I'm like large. Big feet, size 10. I'm just big. And I sometimes feel like it's really cool because I'm like a Nephilim. I'm a giant. I'm big. I'm grand. It's good. I like it. Jesus was not getting that formula milk. Exactly. I'm proportioned well. Thank you. I think so as well. I'm happy with the proportions. We're good. That is a cool fucking... What is this? That's a room. That's a cool fucking room. So we have Madonna enthroned. Oh no, we did that. We have the Arena Chapel. Sorry. Arena Chapel. Hey, Steven, nice to see you. Okay, so let's do the Arena Chapel, guys. So, let me see. You guys are just talking it up right now. I think you guys want to chill. Okay, so to project onto a flat surface, the illusion of solid bodies moving through space presents a double challenge. Construction... Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Constructing the illusion of a body also requires constructing the illusion of a body also requires constructing the illusion of a space sufficiently ample to contain that body. In this fresco styles, see frescoes page 208, Giotto constantly strove to reconcile these two aspects of illusionistic painting. His frescoes in the Arena Chapel, this image above here I'm going to show you at Padua, show his art at its finest. Okay, let's check it out real quick. So this is Giotto, the same guy, and they're talking about the illusions of forms in space. I think this looks fucking cool. The ceiling is dope. The Patriarchy show asks, what hair dye do I use? I dye my own hair. I don't exactly know the brand of it, but I tend to use black hair dye that has a purple tinge to it. You want a purple black because that's the blackest black and it looks really cool. You don't want a black that when you rinse it out it looks just like brown. I'm not looking for a dark brown. I'm looking for a purple black. That's what you want. Purple black. And I go to like Sally's beauty supply because that's like the proper place to get that kind of stuff. Go to Sally's. You don't want to get like get it in a box like from the store. You want to go to Sally's Beauty Supply. Not blue black? Yeah, you can do blue black. Do blue black or purple black. Yeah. Blue purple, same thing. Yeah. Thank you, Eduardo. I know. I like the light skin, dark hair, green eyes. It's my thing. That's my thing. Oh, anyway, so got asking me hair dye questions and stuff. I love it. Okay, keep it coming. Anyway, let me continue with Giotto with the Arena Chapel, and this is the interior looking west in Padua, Italy, 1305 to 1306. I have played a nurse. I've played a nurse before in a music video, and I have images of me in a nurse. That's what one of my laughing emoji when you donate is me laughing. That's me in a nurse outfit. It's hilarious. Okay, so Dan says, a few years back we restored an old heritage house. We uncovered and refinished an old arch plaster ceiling, and I painted a mural on it. The room now looks like you're standing underwater. That's awesome. Cool. That's really awesome. Huh. So this is the frescoes Giotto painted for the Arena Chapel show his art at his finest. In 38 framed panels, he presented the complete cycle of the life of Christ, accumulating in the Last Judgment covering the entrance wall. Damn. Okay. Cool. I want that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Where are we at? So, Enrico Scrovegni, Scrovegni, a wealthy Paduan merchant, built this chapel, which takes its name from an ancient Roman amphitheater nearby on a site adjacent to his now raised palace. Some scholars have suggested that Giotto himself may have been the chapel's architect because its design so perfectly suits its interior decoration. The rectangular barrel-vaulted hall has 6 narrow windows, only in its south wall, which leaves the entire north wall an unbroken and well-illuminated surface for painting. Oh, that's a good idea. The whole building seems to have been designed to provide Giotto with as much flat surface as possible for presenting one of the most impressive and complete Christian pictorial cycles ever rendered. Wow. With 38 framed pictures arranged on 3 levels, the artist related the most poignant incidents from the lives of the Virgin and her parents. Joachim? What the fuck is that? Who the fuck is the Virgin's parents? Joachim and Anna, top level. The life and mission of Christ, middle level, and his passion, crucifixion, and resurrection, bottom level. These 3 pictorial levels rest on a coloristically neutral base. Imitation marble veneer, reminiscent of ancient Roman wall decoration, alternates with the virtues and vices painted in grisaille, monochrome crays often used for modeling paints to resemble sculpture. Okay, so they did some sort of, hold on, the climatic events of the cycle of human salvation, the Last Judgment, covers most of the west wall above the chapel's entrance. So, okay, cool. So we're facing like that opposite wall, so like behind this would be like the windows, right? Or no? The windows on the left. Those are the left windows? Is that the north side? Anyway, so this is the life cycle of Christ and shit. And it's well illuminated, flat surface for painting these amazing things. Yes, yes, Mr. McDonald. He says Eddie Van Halen died today. Did you hear about this? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's so sad to hear. I mean, that's pretty legendary. Maybe I'll bring up some news articles before I end the stream and just have a little, session about that. Yeah. Yeah. So, where was I? Wait, so I just want to see the marble looking things. Alright, cool. It's really awesome. I really love this. I want a room like that. I'm getting a room like that. It's happening. I'm gonna paint it myself. Alright, then we got fresco paintings. Fresco painting has a long history, particularly in the Mediterranean region, where the Minoans used it as early as 1650 BCE. Fresco, Italian for fresh, is a mural painting technique that involves applying permanent lime-proof pigments diluted in water on freshly laid lime plaster. Because the surface of the wall absorbs the pigment as the plaster dries, fresco is one of the most permanent painting techniques. Yeah, permanent. The stable condition fresco, The stable condition of frescoes, such as those in the Arena Chapel. Oh, wow, yeah, those were frescoes. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, that just makes it even more epic. Interesting. So, okay. So, the stable condition of frescoes, such as those in the Arena Chapel in Padua and the Sistine Chapel in Rome, now hundreds of years old, attest to the longevity of this painting method. The colors have remained vivid because of the chemically inert pigments the artists use. In addition to this buon fresco, true fresco technique, artists used fresco secco, dry fresco. Fresco secco involves painting on dried lime plaster. Although the finished product visually approximates buon fresco, the plaster wall does not absorb the pigments, which simply adhere to the surface. Thus, fresco secco does not have buon fresco's longevity, naturally. The buon fresco process is time-consuming and demanding and requires several layers of plaster. Although buon fresco methods vary, generally the artist prepares the wall with a rough layer of lime plaster called the arricchio, brown coat. The artist then transfers the composition to the wall, usually by drawing directly on the arricchio with a burnt orange pigment called sinopia, most popular during the 14th century, or by transferring a cartoon, a fully sized preparatory drawing. Cartoons increased in usage in the 15th and 16th centuries, largely replacing sinopia underdrawings. Finally, the painter lays the intonaco painting coat smoothly over the drawing in sections called giornate, Italian for days, only as large as the artist expects to complete in that session. The buon fresco painter must apply the colors fairly quickly because once the plaster is dry, it will no longer absorb the pigment. In areas of the intonaco that remain unpainted after a session must be cut away so that fresh plaster can be applied for the next giornata. So this is the Giotto di Bondone, the Lamentation, Arena Chapel. Oh, so this is one little section of the Arena Chapel. Really? Okay, cool. 1305 fresco. This is not 6 feet, not this one. What? It is? Yeah, that's 1 foot. What the fuck? This is 6 feet, 6 3/4 inches by 6 feet and 3/4 inches. And yeah, see, there's a little scale there. You see by foot. Holy shit. Okay, I don't remember seeing that. But in this dramatic fresco, Giotto arranged his sculpturesque figures on a shallow stage and used the rocky landscape to direct the viewer's attention towards the head of the dead Christ. Oh yeah, that's true. That does happen. Yeah. Josh asked, I wonder how old decorative paint is. How long ago did humans figure that out? Well, we went to the beginning. In the beginning of this book, they were showing us some of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, probably the true answer. Yeah, I do wonder that as well. But yeah, it goes pretty far fucking back. Yeah. It's crazy. Franjo, I wanted to show you real quick this room. I don't know if you were paying attention, but he's a painter. He paints houses and stuff. So, and he does a lot of that marble technique, Franjo. So I wanted to show him this room, and this is a fresco, and it's a room painted. Like, that's really cool. Where is that? The one that we just saw, though. Like, how is that 6 feet? That's 6 feet? These little panels, each of these little panels? Or maybe, like, what the hell? How big is that? But yeah, anyway, this is one of the little models, one of the sections of it. And yeah, the rock bit that goes all the way down at that angle definitely makes your eye focus down to what's happening with Jesus there. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, so let's see. Where are we at? Subtly scaled to the chapel's space, only about half life-size, Giotto's stately and slow-moving actors present their dramas convincingly with great restraint. Lamentation, figure 731, I think that's, yeah, this one. So the Lamentation. Oh God, someone's yelling outside. Reveals the essential of his style. In this presence of angles darting about in hysterical grief, a congregation mourns. Oh my God, angels. I can't fucking read right now. Oh my God. So the Lamentation reveals the essentials of this style. In the presence of angels darting about in hysterical grief, a congregation mourns over the dead body of the Savior just before his entombment. Mary cradles her son's body while Mary Magdalene looks solemnly at the wounds in Christ's feet, and St. John the Evangelist throws his arm back dramatically. Giotto arranged a shallow stage for the figures, bounded by a thick diagonal rock incline that defines a horizontal ledge in the foreground. Though rather narrow, the ledge provides firm visual support for the figures, and the steep slope indicates the picture's dramatic focal point at the lower left. It certainly does do that. The figures are sculpturesque, simple, and weighty, but this mass did not preclude motion and emotion. Postures and gestures that might have been only rhetorical and mechanical convey in Lamentation a broad spectrum of grief. They range from Mary's almost fierce despair to the passionate outburst of St. John, to the philosophical resignation of the two disciples at the right, and the mute sorrow of the two hooded mourners in the foreground. Giotto constructed a stage that served as a model for artists who depicted human dramas in many subsequent paintings. That's really interesting. So let's look at all the different styles of grief, I guess. They all look like they're freaking grieving the same way to me, to be honest. Okay. Those angels are hilarious to me. Patriarch Show said, in 700 years we went from that to cuties. Sad. That's funny. That's funny. Oop. There we go. Where did I leave? So Giotto constructed a stage that served as a model for artists who depicted human dramas in many subsequent paintings. His style broke sharply from the isolated episodes and figures seen in art until the late 13th century. In Lamentation, a single event provokes an intense response. Painters before Giotto rarely attempted, let alone achieved, this combination of compositional complexity and emotional resonance. The formal design of the Lamentation fresco, the way Giotto grouped the figures within the constructed space, is worth close study. Each group has its own definition, and each contributes to the rhythmic order of the composition. The strong diagonal of the rocky ledge with its single angle dead tree, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which withered at the fall of Adam, concentrates the viewer's attention on the group around the head of Christ, whose positioning is dramatically off-center. The massive bulk of the seated mourner in the painting's left corner arrests and contain all movements beyond this group. The seated mourners to the right establishes a relation to the central figure who, by gazes and gestures, draw the viewer's attention back to Christ's head. Figures seen from the back, which are frequent in Giotto's compositions, represent an innovation in the development away from the formal Italo-Byzantine style. These figures emphasize the foreground, aiding the visual placement of the intermediate figures farther back in space. This device, the very contradiction of the old frontality, in effect puts the viewer behind the observer figures who, facing the action as spectators, reinforce the sense of stagecraft as a model for painting. I mean, that's really interesting, actually. Like, so much to say about this little freaking thing. I mean, I guess it's big, but still. There's a lot going on here, huh? Okay. Oh shit, I see my favorite word in here. Chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. Very Italian. So Giotto's new devices for depicting spatial depth and body mass could not, of course, have been possible without his management of light and shade. He shaded his figures to indicate both the direction of the light that illuminates them and the shadows, the diminished light, giving the figures volume. In Lamentation, light falls upon the upper surfaces of the figures, especially the two central bending figures, and passes down to the dark into their draperies, separating the volumes from the other and pushing one to the fore and the other to the rear. The graded continuum of light and shade, directed by an even neutral light from a single steady source, not shown in the picture, was the first step toward the development of chiaroscuro, the use of contrasts of dark and light to produce modeling. Okay. Let me just see. Is that what he's talking about in here? Chiaroscuro. Oh my god, did you just break a tooth? Eating a ham sandwich? Ooh. Anyway, so Giotto's stage-like... Is it this one he's talking about? No. Right? This is... Yeah, no, we're not there yet. Okay, anyway. Giotto's stage-like settings are pictorial counterparts to contemporaneous mystery plays, in which the drama of the Mass was extended into 1- and 2-act narratives at church portals and in city squares. The great increase in popular sermons to huge city audiences prompted a public taste for narrative, recited as dramatically as possible. The arts of illusionistic painting, of drama, and of sermon rhetoric, with all their theatrical flourishes, developed simultaneously and were mutually influential. Giotto's art masterfully synthesized dramatic narrative, holy lesson, and truth to human experience in a visual idiom of his own invention, accessible to all. Wow. Cool. Cool. So then we have, how do I say that? Not really sure. Let me see. Pronunciation.
pronouncenames.com.
Duccio.
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 Duccio. Why does he say it like that? Duccio. Why does he say it like that? Duccio. I'm going to say it like that now. Just like chiaroscuro. I have to do it with the hand. So we have Duccio. The republics of Siena and Florence were two of the leading city-states of 14th century Italy. The Sienese were particularly proud of their victory over the Florentines at the Battle of Monteperti in 1260 and believed the Virgin Mary had sponsored their triumph. Wow, that's saying something. This belief reinforced, oh god, I have to look up how to say it. I don't know how to say that name either. Such a cornball. Oh, Duccio. Alright, I have to look this up. It's Sienese? Sienese. Pronunciation.
Sienese.
Sienese. Okay, Sienese. Sienese. Duccio. The republics of Siena and Florence were two of the leading city-states of 14th century Italy. The Sienese were particularly proud of their victory over Florentines at the Battle of Monteperti in 1260 and believed the Virgin Mary had sponsored their triumph. This belief reinforced Sienese devotion to the Virgin, which was paramount to the religious life of the city. Sienese citizens could boast of Siena's dedication to the Queen of Heaven as more ancient and venerable than all of the others. To honor the Virgin, in 1308, the Sienese commissioned Duccio. I forgot how to say it already.
Duccio.
Duccio. That's how I'm saying it. You go, it's Duccio. Okay. This belief reinforced. Okay, Duccio. He was active around 1278 to 1318. So, the Sienese commissioned Duccio to paint an immense altarpiece, the Maesta, the Virgin enthroned in majesty for Siena Cathedral. He and his assistants completed the ambitious work in 1311. As originally executed, the altarpiece consisted of a 7-foot-high center panel, surmounted by 7 pinnacles above, and a predella, or raised shelf of panels at the base, altogether some 13 feet high. Okay, so 732. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay. It's this thing. Okay, let's take a good look at these guys, these bad boys. All these people. Got the throne. Got the baby Jesus, classic. Got all these dudes. Everyone's around. Everyone's chilling. So we got Jesus looks like a monster compared to everyone else. He's so huge. So this is the Duccio, Virgin and Child enthroned with saints, principal panel of the Maesta altarpiece from Siena Cathedral in Siena, Italy, 1308 to 1311. It's tempera on wood. The panel is 7 feet by 13 feet, and it's in the museum in... It's in some fucking museum in Siena. Another unimpressed Jesus. Duccio derived the formality and symmetry of this composition from Byzantine tradition, that's true, but relaxed the rigidity and frontality of the figures, that's true, and softened the drapery and individualized the faces. That's true. Very accurate. That's true. Okay, where are we at? So the main panel of the front side represents the Virgin as the enthroned Queen of Heaven amid choruses of angels and saints. That's what it is. Duccio derived the composition's formality and symmetry along with the figures and facial types of the principal angels and saints from Byzantine tradition. but the artist relaxed the strict frontality and rigidity of the Byzantine composition. Duccio's figures turned to each other in quiet conversation. Further, he individualized the faces of the four saints kneeling in the foreground, who performed their ceremonial gestures without stiffness. Similarly, Duccio softened the visual Byzantine hard-body outline and drapery patterning. The drapery, particularly that of the female saints, and both ends of the panel falls and curves loosely. This feature is familiar in French Gothic works and is the mark of the artistic dialogue that occurred between Italy and the North in the 14th century. So despite these changes that reveal Duccio's interest in the new naturalism, he respected the age-old requirements that as an altarpiece, the Maesta would be the focus of worship in Siena's largest and most important church. As such, Duccio knew the Maesta should be an object holy in itself, a work of splendor to the eyes, precious in its message and its materials. Duccio thus recognized that the function of this work naturally limited experimentation with depicting narrative action and producing illusionistic effects, such as Giotto's, by modeling forms and adjusting their placement in pictorial space. Instead, the Queen of Heaven panel is a miracle of color composition and texture manipulation, unfortunately not apparent in a photograph. Close inspection of the original reveals that the Sienese artist learned from other sources. In the 13th and 14th centuries, Italy was the distribution center for the great silk trade from China and the Middle East. After processing the silk in the city-states such as Lucca and Florence, the Italians exported the fabric widely to satisfy the immense European market for sumptuous dress. People throughout Europe prized fabrics from China, Byzantium, and the Islamic realms. In the Maesta panel, Duccio created the glistening and shimmering effect of textiles, adapting the motifs and design patterns of exotic materials. Oh wow, that's interesting. Let's look back at that. Cool. Got some fabrics going on. Cool. Look, you got Black Jesus in there, looking really jealous. Look at this lady. She's looking real pissed. Her eyebrow is up. Okay, so then we have the Simone Martini. Okay. Any comments on that Duccio? Might have some snacks. Got some TGI Fridays, crunchy fries. Don't have any more Arizona iced tea, so I shouldn't eat too many of these. Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks, Jay. Haven't really been getting any donations. If you guys want to help me out, I got $10. Maybe that's enough for snacks. My life, e-begging for change. Kind of disappointed for the lack of Italian hand gestures while speaking Italian. I do it every time I say chiaroscuro. Guaranteed you want me to do hand gestures. Have me say chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro. snacks. Bye, Dan. Thanks for coming by. Alright. Sorry, guys. Chiaroscuro. Tucker had who? Cunt dogs? Who's that? Oh God, no. Not Candace, no. Why? 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 She has nothing important to say. Let me guess, the Democrats are the real racist? Was that her brilliant talking point? Did she try to get some attention again and show up and make a stink where she knew there were going to be leftists that kicked her out? Said something stupid? Okay, sorry. Oh. Ran out of drinks. Any more snacks? My friend Frank got me some of these hemp cigarettes. Got like no THC in them. But it tastes like herb. So, where are we at? We're at the Simone Martini. So Duccio's successor in Siena included his pupil Simone Martini around 1285 to 1344, who may have assisted in painting the Maesta. Oh, we got something, yay. Oh, Patriarchy Show, thank you. Got hot dog action. Hot dog action. Thank you for that. Get snacks. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so he may have assisted in painting the Maesta that we just saw. Martini was a close friend of the poet and scholar Francesco Petrarch. 1304 to 1374, who praised the Sienese painter highly for his portrait of Laura, the woman whom Petrarch dedicated his sonnets. Oh God, not Laura. Martini worked for the French kings in Naples and Sicily, and in his last years produced paintings for the papal court, which in the 14th century was at Avignon, France, where he came in contact with northern painters by adapting the insubstantial but luxuriant patterns of the French Gothic manner to Sienese art, and in turn by acquainting northern painters with the Sienese style, Martini was instrumental in creating the so-called international style. This new style swept Europe during the late 14th and early 15th centuries because it appealed to the aristocratic taste for brilliant colors, love, lavish costumes, love, intricate ornamentation, love, and themes involving splendid processions. Love. No worries, Stephen. Only donate if you can. I don't want anyone to feel pressure. It's just some people are better off in life than me and have a stable job and enjoy my content and appreciate me and understand the troubles that I've gone through and appreciate doing, having this little community that we have every day. And if you have a few bucks to give, then it means a lot to me. And it helps me out a lot. DoorDash, really? Interesting. I'll look into it. Thank you. Don't really be one running around in this city with this fucking danger right now, but maybe I'll look into it. Martini's Annunciation altarpiece, figure 733, features elegant shapes and radiating colors, flowing, fluttering line, and weightless figures in spaceless settings. All hallmarks of the artist's style. Okay, so let's look at it real quick. Sorry, I was reading your comments. Okay. Love it. Want. This is the Simone Martini and Lipo Memi? Question mark. Annunciation 1333. 33. Frame reconstructed in the 19th century. It's tempera and gold leaf on wood. Center panel is 10 feet 1 inch. Wow, by 8 feet 8 3/4 inches, and it's in a gallery in Florence. Holy shit, that's huge. Wow. So a pupil of Duccio, Martini was instrumental in the creation of the international style. Its hallmarks are elegant shapes, radiant color, flowing line, and weightless figures in golden spaceless settings. Yes, that's right. I like the angel's cape. I'm into that. And I like their halos, and I love this frame. Ugh, gorge. So what do we have here? So Martini's Annunciation altarpiece features elegant shapes and radiant color, flowing, fluttering line, and weightless figures in spaceless setting, all hallmarks of the artist's style. The complex etiquette of the European chivalric courts dictated the presentation. Gabriel has just lighted the breeze of his passage, lifting his mantle, his iridescent wings still beating. I'm trying to see that. Okay, so that's Gabriel. He's just alighted, the breeze of his passage lifting his mantle. What mantle? His cape or something? His iridescent wings still beating. The gold of his sumptuous gown is representative of the celestial realm from which he has descended. The Virgin, putting down her book of devotions, shrinks demurely from the angel's reverent genuflection. an approximate gesture in the presence of royalty. She draws about her the deep blue golden hemmed mantle. Yeah, okay, so mantle is like the robe, like the outfit, the piece of fabric. Because she's drawing back her mantle. And his is fluttering up, like they said. So he just flew down, and she's all like, oh. That's what's happening. Gabriel came down to see the Virgin Mary, and she's all like, oh my, let me put my prayer books down for a second. I am being visited by Angel Gabriel. That's what's happening here. So the heraldic colors she wears as Queen of Heaven. Despite the Virgin's modesty and the tremendous import of the angel's message, the scene subordinates drama to court ritual. The structural experimentation to surface splendor. The intricate tracery of the richly tooled French Gothic-inspired frame, and the elaborate punchwork halos, yeah, I really like the halos, enhance the tactical magnificence of the Annunciation. Yeah, I really like the halos. And what did they just say? It was the halos and the frame, the Gothic looking frame, and the punched halos. Yeah, it's dope. That's punched. Awesome. Awesome. Simone, Martini, and his student and assistant Lipomeni, active around 1317 to 1350, signed the altarpiece and dated it 1333. The latter's contribution to the Annunciation is still a matter of debate, but art historians generally agree he painted the two lateral saints. These figures, which are reminiscent of the jam statues of Gothic church portals, have greater solidity and lack the linear elegance of Martini's central pair. Given medieval and Renaissance workshop practices, it is often next to impossible to distinguish the master's hand from that of an assistant, especially if the master corrected or redid parts of the assistant's work. Let me just see that real quick. I don't know if you can see a difference between the lateral and the central ones. Interesting. Okay, so then we have the Ambrosio, is that how you say it? Ambrosio Lorenzetti. Alright, I'm going to call him Lorenzetti. Another of Duccio's students was Lorenzetti, active around 1319 to 1348, who contributed significantly to the general experiments in pictorial realism that characterized 14th century Italian painting. In a vast fresco program he executed in Siena's Palazzo Pubblico, City Hall, Lorenzetti both elaborated in spectacular fashion the advances in illusionistic representation made by other Italian painters and gave visual form to Sienistic civic concerns. Ambrosio produced, calling him by his first name, anyway, so he produced 3 frescoes for the Palazzo Pubblico, allegory of good government, bad government, and the effects of bad government in the city, and effects of good government in the city and in the country. The turbulent politics of the Italian cities, the violent party struggles, the overthrow and reinstatements of governments certainly would have called for solemn reminders of fair and just administration. And the City Hall was just the place for paintings such as Lorenzetti's. Yeah, so City Hall painting, that's pretty fucking dope. Crazy. So indeed, the leaders of the Sienese government who commissioned these frescoes series had undertaken the ordering and reformation of the whole city and countryside of Siena. In Peaceful City, figure 734, okay, so this is Peaceful City. A detail of effects of good government in the city and in the country. The artist depicted the urban effects of good government. The fresco is a panoramic view of Siena with its palaces, markets, towers, churches, streets, and walls. The city's traffic moves peacefully. Guild members ply their trades and crafts, and several radiant maids hand in hand perform a graceful circling dance. Dancers were regular features of festive springtime rituals. Here, their presence also serves as a metaphor for peaceful commonwealth. The artist fondly observed the life of his city, and its architecture gave him an opportunity to apply Sienese artists' rapidly growing knowledge of perspective. Cool. In the peaceful country section of the fresco, not illustrated, Lorenzetti presented a bird's eye view of the undulating Tuscan countryside with its villas, castles, plowed farmlands. Oh, that sounds really nice. And pleasant going about their seasonal occupations. An allegorical figure of security hovers above the landscape, unfurling a scroll that promises safety to all those who live under the law. Lorenzetti's portrait of the Sienese countryside represents one of the first appearances of landscape in Western art since antiquity. Wow. Wow. My Italian is quite good. What do you mean? What have I said? I'm quite terrible with these foreign names. Steven says, I'm jealous the Italians have such beautiful cities and we have to deal with millennials and Gen Z who want to put more ugly, concrete, minimalist, hipster cafes in. Wow. Not illustrated, big gay. Yeah. Makes Italian gesture, mamma mia. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. This is where we get some politics involved in here, and I don't think we've really seen much of that. It's been mostly religious work since the cult of Christianity took over in Rome, and it's been mostly focused on that since Roman times. And in Roman times is when they were using a lot of art to depict stuff for government and to, you know, portray things to the public, whether it's busts of emperors or conquests or, you know, things like that. Yeah, interesting. So this is Ambrogio Lorenzetti, Peaceful City, detail from effects of good government in the city and in the country. Sala della Pace, Palazzo, somewhere in Siena, Italy, all right? Some museum. Oh, wait, no, not a museum. It's in the City Hall. It's in the City Hall, right? Yeah. In Siena, Italy, 1338 to 1339, and it's a fresco. Also, student of Duccio, Lorenzetti explored illusionistic representation in the panorama of the bustling city of Siena. The fresco in the city's Palazzo Pubblico served as an allegory of good government. Let's just check out this good government. Everyone's just, you know, riding their horses. They got, you know, their windows. They're all, like, chilling. They're dancing. There's, like, some festival going on. They got, like, banging their tambourine and dancing in the street. Everyone's just chilling. People up on their roof. People going to the market with their donkey. You know, just walking down the street. Everyone's doing their thing. Cool. That's what good government does, right? Everyone just does their thing. Okay, then we have architecture, okay? Architecture. Holy shit, this thing looks awesome. No cops having to put people in chokeholds. Exactly. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to this. This is good government, you know? This is a peaceful city. Unlike New York City right now. This is what peaceful city was. And it's a detail from effects of good government in the city and in the country. This is the effect, unlike that bullshit we're dealing with. Alright. I think I'm just gonna... Let's see how long this is, because we've been on for 2.5 hours. And I'm not making much super chats anyway. But I feel like I hate just doing a little mini thing. Let's see how long architecture is here. So we got this page. This. Ooh. Whoa. Cool. That's crazy. Alright, that's it. I think we can do that. Let's just do it. No cops having to put people in chokeholds. Exactly. So, we have here the picture of Siena in Ambrogio Lorenzetti's Peaceful City could not be confused with a view of a French, German, or English city of the 14th century. Italian architects stood apart from the development north of the Alps, and as noted, some architectural historians even have questioned whether the term Gothic should be applied to the late medieval Italian buildings at all. Don't know if you heard that outside. That was crazy. Orvieto, is that how I say it? Orvieto Cathedral. The west facade of Orvieto Cathedral is typical of Gothic architecture in Italy. Designed in the early 14th century by the Sienese architect Lorenzo Maestani, the Orvieto facade imitates some elements of the French Gothic architectural repertoire, especially the pointed gables over the 3 doorways, the rose window, and statues in niches in the upper zone, and the 4 large pinnacles that divide the facade into 3 bays. The outer pinnacles serve as miniature substitutes for the tall Northern European towers. Maestani's facade, however, is merely a Gothic overlay masking a marble riveted structure in the Tuscan Romanesque tradition. As the 3/4 view of the cathedral reveals, the Orvieto facade resembles a great altar screen. Its single plane covers with carefully placed carved and painted decoration. In principle, Orvieto belongs with Pisa Cathedral and other Italian buildings rather than with Reims Cathedral. Inside, Orvieto Cathedral has a timber-roofed nave with a 2-story elevation, columnar arcade, and clerestory. Both the chancel arch, sorry, I don't know if I'm like having a stroke. Both the chancel arch framing the apse and the nave arcades arch are round and pointed as opposed. Both the chancel arch framing the apse and the nave arcades arches are round as opposed to pointed. Anyway, okay. That's pretty crazy looking. Cathedrals are based, I agree. I don't know why that had to be approved, but yes. So right-wing Gothic nightclub takeover when? Yeah, that's why I created Goth Right. Hello. And people are like, how can you be right-wing and Gothic? I was like, hello, Gothic cathedrals, crosses, graveyards. It's all fucking Christian shit, okay? Catholic shit. Get with it. Do you hear that? This alarm. Hold up. I can't. Okay, so this is the Lorenzo Maestani west facade of Orvieto Cathedral looking northeast. Orvieto, Italy, begun 1310. Ooh, holy shit. The pointed gables over the doorways, the rose window, and the large pinnacles derive from French architecture, but the facade of Orvieto Cathedral is merely a Gothic overlay, masking a timber-roofed basilica. Cool. Then we have the Florence Cathedral. Like Siena, the Republic of Florence was a dominant city-state during the 14th century. The historian Giovanni Villani, wow, it's like Martina Markota, circa 1270 to 1348, described Florence as the daughter and the creature of Rome, suggesting a preeminence inherited from the Roman Empire. Florentines took great pride in what they perceived as their economic and cultural superiority. Ooh, isn't that like supremacy? Superiority? Supremacy. Florence controlled the textile industry in Italy, and the Republic's gold florin was the standard coin of exchange everywhere in Europe. Wow, interesting. The city's citizens translated their pride into their preeminence into landmark buildings, such as Florence Cathedral, this thing up here. Arnold di Cambio, circa 1245 to 1302, began work on the cathedral in 1296. Intended as the most beautiful and honorable church in Tuscany, this structure reveals the competitiveness Florentines felt with such cities as Siena and Pisa. So this is what we are talking about, and it's Arnolfo di Cambio and others. Aerial view of Florence Cathedral looking northeast, Florence, Italy, begun in 1296. I mean, holy shit, compared to the other buildings, holy fuck, I didn't realize how big these things are. Oh my god. I never really realized how big these were in perspective. That's crazy. This longitudinal basilica church with its Tuscan-style marble-encrusted walls forms a striking contrast to Reims Cathedral, which is that Gothic cathedral in France, and underscores the regional diversity of Gothic architecture. So yeah, I mean, sometimes this is what we talked about in the beginning of this art history book, is that sometimes there is the same style, sometimes it's regional, sometimes it's time period. Like, it's kind of crazy what kind of connects like the different periods of art history and whatnot. It's various things. And in this case, people think of the Gothic art and time period and as a certain look and time and place, but in Italy their architecture differed a bit from the French and English Gothic architecture of the time. It definitely looks it's more Tuscan, that's, I guess. So Giotto di Bondone designed Florence Cathedral's campanile in 1334. In keeping with the Italian tradition, the bell tower stands apart from the cathedral. In fact, it's essentially self-sufficient and could not... Wait, hold on. Am I in the right place? Sorry. I don't think I'm reading the right thing. So... yeah, so Arnold di Cambio, circa 1245 to 1302, began work on the cathedral in 1296. Hold on, did I read this already? Yeah, it's intended to be the most beautiful and honorable church in Tuscany. The structure reveals the competitiveness Florentines felt with such cities as Siena and Pisa. Cathedral authorities planned for the church to hold the city's entire population. What? Cathedral authorities planned for the church to hold the city's entire population, and although it holds only about 30,000, Florence's population at the time was slightly less than 100,000. It seemed so large that the architect Leon Battista Alberti commented that it seems to cover all of Tuscany with its shade. The vast gulf of that separates this low longitudinal basilica church with its Tuscan-style marble-encrusted walls from its towering Transalpine counterparts is strikingly evident in a comparison between the Italian church and Rheims Cathedral, completed several years before the work began in Florence. It is quite huge. Wow. Wow. Cool. Giotto di Bondone designed Florentine cathedrals Campanile in 1334. In keeping with the Italian tradition, the bell tower stands apart from the cathedral. In fact, it is essentially self-sufficient. It could stand anywhere else in Florence without looking out of place. So I think it's this thing on the left here in front of it. Yeah, looks good. The same hardly can be said of northern Gothic towers. They are integral elements of the buildings behind them, and it would be unthinkable to detach them, to detach one of them and place it somewhere else. In contrast, not only could Giotto's tower be removed from the building without adverse effects, but also each of the parts, cleanly separated from each other by continuous moldings, seems capable of existing independently as an object of considerable aesthetic appeal. This compartmentalization is reminiscent of the Romanesque style, but it also forecasts the ideal of Renaissance architecture. Artists hope to express structure in the clear, logical relationships of the component parts and to produce self-sufficient works that could exist in complete independence. Okay. Cool. Holy shit. This thing is like, wow. Wow. This is what I love about Gothic stuff. So the Milan Cathedral, not all of Italy was fiercely resistant to the French Gothic manner, as was Tuscany. Since Romanesque times, Northern Europe influences had been felt strongly in Lombardy. When Milan citizens decided to build their own cathedral in 1386, they invited experts from France, Germany, and England, as well as Italy. These masters argued among themselves and with the city council, and no single architect ever played a dominant role. The result of this attempt at architecture by committee was not surprisingly a compromise. The building's proportions, particularly the naves, became Italian, that is, wide in relation to height. That's true. But the surface decorations and details remained Gothic. That's true. Clearly derived from France are the cathedral's multitude of pinnacles and the elaborate tracery on the facade, flank, and transept. Long before completion of the building, however, the new classical style of the Italian Renaissance had been well launched, and the Gothic design had become outdated. Thus, Milan Cathedral's elaborate facade represents a confused mixture of late Gothic and Renaissance elements, with its classical pediment-capped rectilinear portals amid Gothic pinnacles. The cathedral stands as a symbol of the waning of Gothic style. Aw, Shaggy says he's kind of wide in relation to height. Aw. That's funny. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely different but similar. Yeah, I get it. Interesting. All right, guys, there's that. And we'll have a little Gothic Europe recap before we head to the next chapter next time. which is Europe 1400 to 1500. Okay. Flanders. I mean, this is the famous Van Eyck painting with that. This is a super famous painting, and you can see, like, inside the portrait in the middle there in that rounded mirror that I think the artist himself is in there, reflected. Painted himself. Look, it's like Maz painted himself in there. No, I'm just kidding. It's paint me. Okay, putting myself in there too. No, this is a really cool kind of concept that's happening here. But anyway, I guess the next chapter is called 1400 to 1500. What the fuck? Are they gonna give me like an actual? Are they gonna give me an actual like? What is this time period? What is it called? Is this Renaissance? Are we getting into Renaissance? Is this what's happening? What's up with her hairline? Damn. Yeah, for some reason that's how women looked in these paintings back in the day, and their hairlines were pretty wild. I don't know, man. Why he look like Putin? Oh my god, he does. Alright guys, that's that. Unless you have any last comments, super chats, Streamlabs, donations, or anything, concerns, comments, what have you, just let me know. But that's gonna be that. I think we did it. We did it. All Russians look the same. It's true. Oh my god. Hybrid cathedral, yeah, patriarchy show. That's what that was. Yeah, it was a hybrid cathedral for sure. Eduardo, no worries, no worries. I don't want people to be waiting for their paycheck to give me money. Just if people have something, let me know, and I mean, you know, send it my way. Let me know if you got it. Hopefully, I can stop e-begging soon. I think in the next few months I'll stop e-begging, and I'm gonna sort something else out, but right now I'm in this situation that I gotta pay bills and do this right now. Yeah. The self-insert. What am I gonna do? Well, I'll still stream here and there, but like, I'm gonna be a housewife, so I'm not gonna have to pay my own rent and stuff like that. I'm gonna be able to just maintain my storage fee bills, and that's pretty much it. And I won't have this much stress to pay for New York City rent by myself. So, yeah, that's what's happening. Just gonna work on the comic book, gonna work on the magazine, gonna work on a family. I'm gonna work on my own stuff and cook. I love cooking dinner. So, yeah. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for coming by. And tune in tomorrow for the debates. Alright? We got the vice president debates tomorrow. We got Pence and Camilla. Yep, that's gonna be fun. Alright. See you tomorrow. Come by.